This video is for you if you were absent today or if you just wanted to take another look at what we worked on today in class. Okay, so we worked on three things today. We talked about the percent of decrease. Sorry, that got erased a little bit. We talked about, so like this would be like if something was on sale at a store, what is the new price? It was decreased, right? We've talked about the percent of increase or the new price, if it did increase. The percent of increase is a different thing. We'll get to that later. The percent, if it increased, so if a store is wanting to raise their prices and make more money. And then we talked about finding the original price if you have the sale price or maybe a new price. So let's take a look first at this percent decrease. So items are on sale for a certain percent off, and we want to know what the sale price is going to be. So let's just take an example. Let's say you go shoe shopping and you find some shoes that you really like, and the price is $67.85, and your mom says, "That's too much. We can't afford that. We're not buying those shoes." And then you turn and you look, and there's this glorious sign, and it says 30% off. And you say, "Hold on, Mom, look, those shoes are 30% off." And she says, "Well, how much would they cost then?" Well, now you've got to be able to figure that out. How much will those shoes cost? So this, if we see 30% off, this is a two-step question. We need to find 30% of our price, and then we need to subtract that amount from the price because we're taking 30% of this away. So step one, we have to find 30% of $67.85. And then step two, whatever that amount is, $67.85 minus the amount that we find. So we could call this S for the sale price, and then when we find it, we'll do $67.85 minus S. All right, and if we work all that out, which I did ahead of time to save time, 30% of $67.85 actually comes out to this interesting decimal. It's 20.355. And you're thinking to yourself, well, hold on, that's a weird decimal, right? But that's okay. We're working with money. So we're going to round this to the hundredths place. So our choices are 2035 or 2036. Since this is a 5, it's going to be, S is going to be $20.36. Hopefully that makes sense. So if you get a big decimal, that's okay. We just round it off. So now our price is going to be $67.85 minus $20.36, which comes out to be new price $47.49, downright affordable. All right, so now I want you to practice one. Grab your scratch paper, your whiteboard, whatever you've got. Let's say you go to the really fancy shoe section and you find some shoes and you really love them, but they're $119.28. And of course your mom says, "No way, we can't pay that." But you look and these are in the same store, so they are 30% off. Go ahead and calculate what the price would be for these shoes and then come back and check your answer. All right, so hopefully you found this. We need to find 30% of $119.28, first of all, and then we need to subtract that from our original price. So 30% of $119.28 is another decimal. It's 35.784. So if we round that to the hundredths place, we can see it's going to either be 78 cents or 79 cents. That's a 4, so we can keep it at 78 cents. So if I equals this thing, if I subtract 35.78 off of my original price, it should get 83.50. So check your work, check my work, make sure that we did the same thing. All right, so that was a very quick overview of when we get a percentage decrease. So we've done this one. Now we need to talk about when the percentage increases. So this is usually a situation where a store has chosen to raise their prices, as they do, to keep up with inflation or whatnot. So let's say today you're at a bookstore I love to go to bookstores. And you're browsing the shelves and you see a book that you really want it, and it is $8.95. And when you get to the counter, the owner says, "Oh, you know what? We've raised our prices. We haven't updated all of the stickers yet. We've actually raised all the prices 15%. Got to keep up with inflation and whatnot. So the new price is going to be more expensive than what it says on the ticket." And you're thinking to yourself, well, now how much is that new price going to be? 15% more than $8.95. So the process for this is almost exactly the same, except once we find 15% of this, we're just going to add it instead of subtracting. So 15% of $8.95, we're going to put that in 15/100 times $8.95. I got my number here, and we get a big long decimal, and that's okay. We're going to round it to the hundredths place. So every book for this price is now $1.34 more. Sorry, I'm trying to get that light not to show on the board. So if we take $8.95 plus $1.34, make sure I write the right price here. Add that up, we'll get our new price, which should be $10.29. So percent increase is just very similar to percent decrease, except we pay more money instead of less. Okay, the last thing that we need to practice here, so that was when the price is going up by a percent. And the last thing is to find the original price if we're given the sale price, or maybe the new price. Mine are practicing with the sale price today. So let's say you go to the store and they say there's a big sale. Everything in the store is 60% off. And you think, well, we have to stop there. I love a sale. And you enter the store, and the first thing you see is a beautiful lamp, perfect for a Mother's Day gift you need to buy for your mother. And the lamp is actually the price, the sale price is listed at $15.86. And you think to yourself, that's not too bad. I could buy that. But let me think about how much I've saved. What would the original price of this lamp have been? Because you don't want to tell your mom, I only spent $15 on you for Mother's Day. You want her to think that you got her this really valuable lamp, right? We want to know the price before the 60% was taken off. So for this one, the only little thing we have to think about is this. We don't have the whole. We don't have the big whale. We have the little fish, right? So we need to know the whole, which is a different situation. So what we're asking ourselves is 1586 is some percent of the total, which is what I want to know. But here's the question. Is this 60% of the total? I see 60% there, but it's 60% off. So what are we going to do with that? This is something we have to think a little bit. If the whole is 100%, and I've taken 60% off, 60% went away, and I was left with this bit, that was the price of the lamp, what percent was I actually left with here? It's that missing piece to get me up to 100. So the lamp is actually 40% of the total. And I hope that you can see that we always need to take the percent that will get us to 100% with our sale. So this isn't 60% of the total, it's 40% of the total, and you'll see why when we check our answer. All right, so we can figure this out. 1586 is 40% of what? Well, this is the problem type where we want to divide, right? Because this equals something times something. So we can do 1586 divided by 40/100, and we can find our total, which would come out to be, I have it here, $39.65. What a nice gift for your mom. So that lamp was originally $39.65. All right, last thing, I want you to try one of these to make sure that you understand how to find the percent that we're actually looking for. So it's still the same store. Everything is 60% off. And you walk through and you find for your dad a very manly looking picture frame. And the picture frame is priced at $7.32. And you're thinking to yourself, that's a great price. But I want to know how much it was to begin with. So what do we have to do? We have to write our sentence. 732 is, remember what that means, some percent of sum total. Is it 60% of the total? No, 60% went away and this was left. So it's 40% of sum total that we don't know. And how would we solve that? Two things multiply to make the product. Take the product, divide by one factor, I get the other factor. So if I do 732 divided by 4/10 or 40/100, I would get my price. Hopefully you pause, solve. You should get the price of $18.30, the original price for that picture frame.